in this computer. This, there we go. Okay, good. Awesome. So today's workout, we're focusing, it's a strength workout. And we're gonna focus on the muscles that are gonna help you find more comfort in brushing, which is one of the struggles that I feel like people have. They don't know how to feel comfortable, and they're told they're supposed to lean and get their feet out, and it's uncomfortable. And partially it's a confidence thing, and partially it's a strength thing, which all start to go together. So I was just saying, if you have a curling broom, go grab it now. It doesn't have to be a great one. All we're gonna do is lean on it, so you can lean up against something. And if you don't have a curling broom at home, I'll show you how to do something similar with a chair. We're definitely going to use at least one weight. If you don't have a weight, I'll show you what to do with a band. Okay. If you don't have a band, we'll figure something out. And a yoga block will be helpful, not mandatory. But other than that, I think we're ready to go. Anything anybody's like, I can't wait to touch on? Yay, nay? Good. Those that have just signed in, I said, if you can't hear me when I'm back there, don't be afraid to go off mute and say yell louder. I don't know where my headphones are. And I'll do the same thing where I list the exercises that we do for you. These ones actually will be a little easier to find. The sound is great. Okay, cool. Hopefully that stays. That'd be lovely. So we're going to do a little superset to warm up a muscle called your serratus anterior. So this is, a lot of practitioners see the serratus anterior as the glute of the upper body. Like there's lots of parallels between the hip joint and lower limb and the shoulder joint and lower limb. So that's kind of, the serratus kind of pulls across here. It's like these little finger-like muscles if you see it on a bodybuilder. And it's going to take your shoulder blade, so this guy back here, and it's going to help to, going this way, anchor the shoulder blade on your rib cage. So if you ever see someone who, when they kind of do a push-up or something, their shoulders wing out, mine kind of do a little bit at the very bottom, I need to work on those lower serratus fibers to help me with that. So here we go. We're going to warm up the serratus, and we can do this in two ways. First set, we'll do standing. So you're going to come up to the wall. Okay, and if you have a foam roller, that will be beneficial, but if you don't, you do not need to do this with a foam roller. You're going to take your arms, as if you're holding a block in between them, which really just means that your elbows don't come in or your wrists don't come in, okay? So you could hold a block, not necessary, but we just kind of want to keep those pieces there. So if you notice, I can kind of pinch the shoulder blades together, but they come off my spine a little bit. But when I reach forward, they wrap around my rib cage. So I kind of want to push my hands forward. Now, what this does, if we're like about a foot away from the wall, is I can't arch my back like this, and I can't round this way. It's going to make me keep my ribs down. So all you're going to do, it's going to be tough because this is in the way. All you're going to do is slide your hands up the wall. So just your hands, don't worry about your forearms. And then slide them back down until your forearms are touching the wall. You want a little extra push into the forearms and kind of breathe into the back. You're looking for space between the shoulder blades. Okay, so let's say we did 10, where you breathe in, slide the hands up, breathe out while you slide the hands down. Sorry, 5 where you breathe in when you reach up, and then 5 where we do the opposite. So let's do 5 in to reach, out to come down. Okay, so look at this, in to reach, let them separate. Out to come down. Okay, you could tell I went golfing in the sun and have a very good tan line. Okay, and then the second 5 will actually be the opposite. So at the bottom, that's when you'll breathe in, and you'll breathe out as you raise your arms up. So 5 of those. Breathe in, breathe out. And you might have been given a similar exercise like this if you've ever done something to a shoulder rotator cuff. But the key is to actually get that separation and to not let these ribs flare out. So that's where this can come in handy. And then, of course, if you're watching the recording and you wanted to try it with a foam roller, it's the exact same thing, but it's definitely not mandatory. Okay. Second exercise we're going to do is lying on our backs. Let me get a little closer. This is called a long lever hamstring bridge. If you've got something that you can hold on to, like a yoga block, you can. Okay, and we're gonna get onto our backs. So we're not gonna have the knees bent at 90 degrees. We're gonna have them a little bit straighter. So they're not fully straight and they're not fully bent. Okay, now, my low back. We don't necessarily want it arched up as much as possible till the ribs flare, but we actually don't want to crush it into the ground so much that the back pockets lift. We kind of want to find a happy medium. So I imagine my sit bones are kind of reaching towards that corner of the wall. Okay, you could keep your hands on the ground or reach the block up into the air, or just your hands, and without rolling your back up. So we don't want to roll. You want to pivot up on the shoulders. I want you to imagine your feet are stuck and they're going to try to dig down into the wall to lift the knees. Okay, so this is a long lever hamstring bridge. If you lift it up and you're like, ooh, I might have rolled my tailbone under, I want you to untuck. So instead of tucking too much, untuck the tail. This is level 1. Hold this, 5 breaths. We're looking for about 30 seconds double before we move to a single. So if you're already at single, you're going to take the block in right hand, left arm comes to the ground. Okay, and then it's like you're marching. My right foot, I'm just gonna put this down so you can see. My right foot's gonna dig more, and my left knee comes in as if I'm running. So my right heel is gonna hover off the wall. It's gonna pull to lift the knee, and I'm not going to over tuck my pelvis. I'm gonna untuck it and reach up. So I'm gonna hold this for 20 seconds. Maybe you've already been holding it for a bit. Breath in. Full breath out. If you cramp, if you need a break, lower down, go back to double leg. Big exhale, 5 seconds. Good, lower the hips. We'll set up the exact same. So shake out that hamstring. So ideally, we're looking for kind of belly of the hamstring. You might feel where the hamstring crosses the knee. And if I really want you to be okay if you're feeling it back by the butt. Okay, so both feet to start. Okay, we're not fully flat. We're not fully arched. We're kind of halfway. We pull the feet down to lift the hips. Make sure we didn't over tuck. You can hold that, or the left hand reaches up. Okay, we're going to bring the right thigh in towards your chest, and I'm going to hover my left heel. So breathing in and breathing out. Make sure we don't over tuck underneath. So untuck the pelvis. Okay, big full breaths in, full breaths out. We're helping to stabilize the pelvis with those hamstring muscles. Almost there. One more full in, full out. Good, lower down, shake them out. And then we're gonna go back to the serratus. So if you could do a plank, if you can do a plank, you're gonna do the floor version. I'm just gonna demo the standing one more time. Okay, so the standing one, pretending you're holding a block, okay, against the wall about a foot. Don't dump the pelvis or flare the ribs. You're gonna roll up, breathe in, breathe out, pull it down. You can do that 5, and then you can do the opposite where you breathe out when you reach up, and then you breathe in here. If you're on the floor, you're in a plank position. If you have access to a wall, this is gonna be a bonus, okay? But what we're gonna do is get into a high plank first, and then with your feet on the wall, and then bring your knees down. So it's okay if your heels come off. We just want your feet to touch. Now I'm going to come down into a plank on my forearms and do the same thing. Press away. Now with the feet, I'm actually going to try to drag the feet up the wall. So breathing in, breathing out. Alternatively, if you have a foam roller, you're going to take that foam roller, okay, and you're going to same position, and you're going to maybe move the arms 2 or 3 inches as you reach up. Breathe in, breathe out, come under. Pull the feet up the wall. Breathe in, breathe out. So you're going to do that 5 times. And then you're going to do the opposite. You press in, you're going to breathe into the back. Breathe out. As you reach, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so looking for 10 in total. It's a tough one. And then we're gonna end up on our backs again with that long lever. My kind of standard for the long lever is that you're looking to be able to hold at least one set of 45 seconds each side. And I know that can be daunting if you're like, wow, I could hardly do 30 seconds double leg. But if you do that 2 or 3 times a week, over time, you'll slowly get stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's gonna be really beneficial. That exercise alone helped me with a lot of ailments. And as long as you're not experiencing too much cramping or definitely no back pain, then you should be in a pretty good place. So let's do that long lever again. I'll show you from the side this time. Okay. I'm just gonna do the double leg the first time. So my knees aren't straightened, but they're not bent. Okay. I'm reaching the hands up so we can get a little extra, again, serratus. So I can punch this block up and get the shoulder blades to separate from the spine. Okay, so I'm gonna drag my feet down the wall to lift my knees. That's the visual. Because when I lift my hips, I do this. Okay, and we want to see the knees lift. Okay, so you'll see that especially if you're on the recording. Okay, see how my knees lift. Now we want to make sure the pelvis didn't over tuck. You want to untuck the pelvis. You're holding that, or you're doing single leg. Left hand reaches. We're doing 20 seconds. Right leg in, and then hover the heel as you drag to lift. And untuck. Here we go, 20 seconds, breathing in, breathing out. For a little bit more expansion in that left posterior rib cage, we can bend the elbow, palm faces you, and reach that forearm to the sky. Good, breathing in, breathing out. Untuck the pelvis, full exhale, and lower down. Good, we'll just go straight to the single on the right. If you want to do the double, by all means. Okay, so we're gonna start dragging, lifting the heel, dragging the ball of the foot, okay? Right hand lifts, big separation of that shoulder, and lift, but untuck the pelvis. Here we go, 20 seconds. So it's not about lifting the heel super high. If you feel too much calf, the heel might be too lifted. Okay, you shouldn't feel this in your low back. That's a surefire way to know you've over-tucked or overextended. And exhale. Good job. Shake out those hammies. Good. Now you might be thinking, what do the hamstrings have with brushing? A lot of the time when people are trying to get into their brushing position, their body doesn't know how to stabilize the pelvis through things like the hamstrings. We've got other muscles involved, obviously. So instead of allowing you to get into this position and feel stable for upper body and core, but also the stabilizing of the pelvis, and that hamstring will allow to make sure you don't do this, right? You don't want that tucked and round underneath. It allows us to kind of access the backs of the legs there. All right, wrong list. Okay, a depth push-up. So we're gonna get onto the floor. If you've got that yoga block, ooh, we don't have two. That's okay, we'll do a single arm. So we're gonna put the knees on the ground. This is called a Nordic position. We've already done this once today. So it's as if I was in a high plank. Okay, my feet on the wall. Lower my knees, okay? For here, I keep my hands where they are. Okay, so I'm gonna put one hand on a block. I'm gonna pull up. If you relax the butt and pull up. Sorry. Oh, was it a bug? No, sorry, there's a bug earlier today. I couldn't find it. Okay, so if you relax the butt, so you don't over tuck, you don't over arch, and then pull up with the feet. So my feet aren't moving, but they're pulling up. They're gonna help stabilize the hamstrings a little bit more. So we're using the hamstrings instead of clenching the butt here to try to stabilize the pelvis. So I've got one hand lifted. Okay, this is gonna give me a little bit more expansion on that side. You do not have to go all the way down for this. So what I want you to do is bend your elbows as much as you feel comfortable. Take a full breath in, full breath out, and then press up. At the top, take a full breath in, take a full breath out. So we're gonna end up doing 3 to 5 with both hands up here, so each side. Okay, so as low as you feel comfy, full breath in, full breath out. Use that core strength to push yourself up. Okay, so it could be a little bit or all the way down. I'm trying to find breathing into my back when I press up, and at the bottom, I'm trying to breathe into my chest. Okay, so 3 to 5, and then you're going to switch to the other hand. Okay, so pulling up with the feet, lower down, breathe in, breathe out, press yourself up. Yeah, good. This is a tough one. So even if you go a little bit, doesn't have to be very far. Okay, obviously lower is going to give you more of expansion in the chest, but do not force yourself in something that you can't hold yet anyways. Okay, so we get time under tension. You're holding the bottom of that push-up, holding the top of that push-up. Okay. Yeah, beautiful.
Steph, where are our hands? Are they like next to our shoulders or in front, a little bit in front?
Is that
a little bit in front?
Yep. Yeah, so they're not straight underneath my shoulders. They're a little bit in front because you're pushing yourself and pulling up. Okay, good. Okay. Saw them. I saw them. Good, good, good. We're going to do this one again so that you'll get a chance. And to be honest, 2 or 3 reps is a lot. So, okay. The next one is a side plank clam with a reach. So I'm going to demonstrate with my yoga mat so that you can see the alignment. Okay. So I'm going to take my elbow on the side of my yoga mat. I'm going to put my hip on the side. I'm going to bend my knees and put my feet on the side. So now when I lift up into my shoulder is over top of my elbow here. Okay. So I'm going to press through the side of my shin to lift my hips. And then instead of keeping my body in line with the yoga mat, I'm actually going to push my hips forward. So now my knees, my hips, my shoulders are in line. Okay. So starting point would be hang out here. Okay. You could reach an arm forward because we're going to add in a reach. You could raise a leg here. Okay. We're going to add a movement in. So I'm going to add it in 5 reps at a time here. So hips back to the starting point, hips forward to the second point. Okay, so let's call that 1, hips back, hips up, that's 2. Now we lift the leg. Okay, hips back, lift up, that's 3. Hips back, lift up, that's 4. Now this time, when you go down, hips back, reach that top arm as far as it'll go. Okay, and then when you lift up, bring that hand in towards your bra strap. So reach it as far as it'll go, big back stretch, lift up. Okay, so it's between 10 and 15. And you're really trying to lift that side body. This gets the shoulders, it gets the glutes, it gets the obliques, it gets the leg that's lifting, getting a stretch in the back. Okay, lots of things are happening here. Yeah, big reach forward. Now make sure we're not reaching up forward, like almost towards bra strap angle and like a down 45 versus straight out, because then you might shrug. Okay, so other side. So essentially you're trying to get the elbow, the hip, and the heel in line to start. When you lift up and then you push the hips forward. Ooh, too close. Okay, then you make knee, hip, and shoulder line. Okay, so I'll do the same thing on this side. Hip goes back, hip comes through. So almost thrusting the hips back and through, and then maybe lift, back, through, lift, back, reach, lift, reach, lift, 10 to 15. Trying to lift that side body. Okay, so I'm going to hold it for a moment. You keep going. So we got this side shoulder. We got this lifting oblique. We got this bottom glute. We got this top glute. Okay, we're getting at the bottom. We're getting a nice stretch through that posterior because I'm sending the hips back in the opposite direction of that reach. Very good. We're gonna do those two again. You're doing great. I see you. I see you. You're doing awesome. It's coordination. It's not fair. Good. Okay, and these are tough. These are my sneaky ones. Normally the upper body stuff is all sneaky. You're like, oh, you're just doing a push-up with your feet on the wall. None of you sound like that, by the way. They're all good. Okay, so here we go again. Right, now, you could do this if you're like, oh, Steph, this is really killing me. My wrist, my elbows. You could do this on a chair. Same thing. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. That's really all I'm looking for. If you need to do it off a wall, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. That's really what we're looking for, okay? So 3 to 5, if you're doing both arms at the same time, you're looking for about 10, okay? So I'm in that high plank, I lower down so that I can kind of push my body over my hands. This is gonna be a theme later, and press away. So when I'm here, I'm gonna inhale and exhale. Okay, at the bottom, I'm gonna inhale and exhale. And see if you can kind of maintain that gentle pull up with the feet to get those hamstrings to orient the pelvis so you're not clenching and squeezing. Good, yeah, lower down. And it's okay if you don't go very far down. Height is the goal, but not necessarily the be all end all. Like we're looking to expand the chest here. And we're expand into the back here. Okay, so worry about that before you worry about can I go all the way down or not. Before we get into that second set of the side planks. And I've got 2 on video, so when I see you get to those side planks, then I know we're in a good spot. You're doing great. Adriana, hold your hands a little further apart. Maybe that's what you were asking earlier. I'm sorry. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Holding the bottom is the hardest part, I feel. You're like, oh my God, breathe in, breathe out faster. It's very good. Okay, awesome. And then the second exercise is a side plank and reach. I'm going to show it to you this way, just in case that helps anybody. So elbow, hip, heels. Press through the side of the shins to lift the hips. And then you're going to almost thrust the hips forward, but don't worry about clenching anything. It's just the direction of the hips. They go back, and then they line you up. They go back, and then they line you up. Maybe you lift, maybe you reach. Okay, 10 to 15. And I really want you to think of lifting that side body. Okay, trying to keep, when you lift up, keeping the chest parallel to the wall in front of you. Good. Yep, good. Reaching in front and then almost rowing to your side. Reach in front and then row to your side. Good. Okay. Same thing. Good. So this is a side plank, reach, side plank clam with a reach. You're getting a chance to really, again, hips going back, hands reach opposite direction. So get hopefully a big back stretch. Okay, let the shoulder blades separate from the spine on that reach on the top. Okay, very good. Just doing 2 sets of these. Okay, maybe you grab some water. Good, 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 good. Jeez, I keep looking at the wrong sheet. I'm so sorry. You're doing great. Doing great. Don't worry, there will be more side planks here in a moment. Good. So the next one, if you can do a push-up from the ground, you're going to do a push-up from the ground. But if your wrists are sore, if you're getting tired, or you're like, I can't do them from the ground, then you're going to do this from a raised surface, okay? So the wall is an option, okay? The wall is going to look like you do a push-up, You're gonna lift, and then we're tapping the opposite shoulder. Lower, tapping the opposite. Now, watch my shoulder blades here. I don't wanna stay pinched. I wanna separate. This is not ideal, obviously. Don't look at my fingers, but look back here. See how I don't wanna be pinched? I wanna press my body, my rib cage, back in space away from the wall. So I'm gonna go down. When I reach to tap, I'm gonna separate and push that ribs back. So from an elevated surface, and again, if you have wrist issues, like I like to hold the edge of something to let the fingers dangle off. I find that helps. Okay, so an elevated surface, keep the knees soft. You're gonna lower down, push up. Okay, I'm gonna show you on the right. I'm gonna press extra to get the shoulder away from the spine. I'm gonna tap. Okay, lower down and tap. Lower down and tap. By all means, you can do this from the floor. You could do this from the, if you're like, what really looks like 8-point? I could kind of help me get low abs, help me get my hamstrings down, tap, down, tap. And we're looking for a number that makes you feel comfy. 10, 15, whatever works for you. I mean, it's gonna have to be an even number. You're doing opposite. Oh, hello, dog. Okay, so I'm not turning away. I'm keeping my chest square as I press. Okay, that will be a good one. Yes, good. Off the wall, loving it. Off a chair, loving it. Good, good. So the second one is another side plank from that same modified position. So a full side plank is when you're either on your forearms or on your hand and the legs are straight. So I call it modified because my lower shins are on the ground. It's easier, but it's also more isolating. There's a lot more pieces that kind of get tired if I'm holding here. So by all means, we need those, but I love lots of variations from this modified version. So this one, oh, I found the bug, sorry. This one, I'm gonna show you from the side here, same setup, okay? And again, you can hold the side plank, okay? You're trying to lift the side body, okay? This one, you're gonna reach the top leg out, it's gonna touch the floor, you're lifting, and you're reaching up and over your head. So I'm almost trying to make a half moon with my body. So I'm not just reaching over to there, I'm actually trying to side bend and lift this side up. So you could hold this, okay? This could be your exercise, okay? You could hang out here, you can come back and in. So reach, let's do this first set like this actually. Big reach, connect in front. Big reach, so now we're trying to connect the ribs in front. So not necessarily crunch, reach, maybe they don't touch. That's okay, but it's all about lifting and big side body. About 10, 15 is gonna be really good. And yes, again, we get that side glute. Okay, same thing on this other side, yeah. So we really want this lifted as high, so which means I'm pressing down through that side shin and lifting. This foot's touching the ground. Okay, hips are high, lift shoulders high, big lift, and then connect in front. Big connect. Okay, if your shoulder starts to hurt, try to pull your body that way. I'm trying to use my arm to pull my body forward. Okay, 10 to 15 of those. Lots of little stabilizer muscles happening here. Phenomenal. And then we'll do that second set of the push-up to shoulder tap. Okay, so push up, down, keeping my shoulders parallel, shoulder tap, but try to separate that, in this case, right shoulder blade from my spine. Push up, and lift. And lift. So it's a little bit of an extra bit of separation. of shoulder blade from the spine, whether you're doing it from the floor, from an 8-point position, on the chair. Yep. See if you can hold it. Separate. So you're using those serratus muscles from the beginning. Yeah, you should almost feel like at the top, you're not necessarily rounding your spine, but there should be lots of space between the shoulder blades. Okay, just like we did with the depth push-up when we did big breath in at the back. Good job. Good. We're gonna move into our brushing stuff next. I like 2 sets of some things. That way we can do more of the brushing stuff, okay? So, very quickly, I'm gonna show you what you're gonna do if you don't have a curling broom. You need a chair with legs. Okay, one hand goes on the butt, where the butt goes. One hand goes down the leg. So I would be in a closed position going that way. Okay, so, and if you see it from here, guess what muscle, can't see it. On my right side here, guess what muscle needs to work to make sure that shoulder blade's not pinched? I need to push away, just like I did in the depth push-up. Okay, to help give me that serratus, which is stabilizing our scapula. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do if you don't have a broom. If you have a broom, okay, you can use a wall. If you're like, oh, I'm a little nervous about kind of getting in this position, a wall is helpful because you know it's not gonna go anywhere. Okay, and we're gonna go through what I call the brushing plank. So brushing plank, in terms of trying to prepare ourselves for curling season, is a great exercise, okay? Because we get to get into the brushing position. We don't have to move, we just have to get there. And it's just about owning the position. Okay, so I'm gonna do open for the first set. I invite you to get in whatever position feels right for you. So for me, I'm on the left side of the thrower, right hand down, okay? And I want you to pay attention to where I put my feet. So my feet are not right beside the rock here. Okay, if my feet are right beside the rock, then I have to just side bend. Okay, so if I'm going that way, my feet are right beside the rock, I have to side bend, which is gonna kind of twist my spine and hurt my back. But what we're gonna do instead, imagine the rock's going that way. My feet are gonna be back here, not directly behind, but further back from the rock. Okay, and I'm gonna use my feet to kind of push my body over the brush. And then I'm gonna bring those serratus muscles in and I'm gonna press my body away. So my feet are pushing me over and I'm pushing my body away. Newton's law means that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If I push my body up, there's a force pushing down, okay? We get a chance to use that muscle that stabilizes our scapula. So let's do 20 seconds on each side here. So we're gonna do open on both sides. I encourage you to get into a position that doesn't feel right. Okay, so I'm gonna set the timer right now. Okay, so feet, push my body over, and then I'm going to use my hands to push my body away. See how this opens my chest to my target? I'm going that way. And I get the shoulders away from the ears. So I'm going to push down. If you're sliding, you need to go get gloves. Now, you're going to notice, oh, that's 20 seconds. Take a break. We're going to do the other side. I challenge you to do the other side. Okay, before you do the other side, here's something I want you to notice. In open, my chest is towards the target. My shoulders are higher than my hips. Okay, so no more are we trying to get our back parallel to the ice. Okay, and kind of bending down, get low. We're trying to actually use that so we can almost like, kind of like pushing a wheelbarrow, use our feet to push the body forward. So here we go, second 20 seconds, try the other side. Ready, go. Okay, feet, push body over, press in with both hands, chest towards the target. You can add some breathing in. Very good. That's 20 seconds. Awesome. Okay. Now we're gonna do, we're gonna start with the wall climbers. We're gonna do a couple different versions here. Okay, wall marches, I call them. I'm not be able to see my feet. So against a wall, so I'm not in a push-up position. Here, man. Okay, against a wall, so I'm not perfectly so stand arm distance away, shoulder height. Walk your feet back so that you feel comfortable, and you're actually going to get up. You can't see me, but up on my heels with my knees bent. So I'm trying to push my body forward. It's kind of like a high plank on the wall. From here, if I lift my left leg, I don't want to hike the hip. I want to keep the hips level, and I want to stay up on my right toes. Okay, so I'm going to lift and lower, alternating the march. And I want you to think when my left foot is down, I'm pressing into the ground, and when my right, which makes my left glute work, when my right leg is lifted, they're keeping my hips parallel. Okay, so my right glute while my left leg raises. Yeah, so from behind, we're pushing the wall away, but I'm not hiking my hips or side to side motioning it. Okay, so I'm trying to almost push that wall away. Go for another 10, 5 each side. Fully just spilled all over myself. Just water, nobody panic. Good work. And we're going to do a bunch of different options with those. So yeah, sorry about that. Very professional over here. Very professional. Good, good, good. Okay, so set 2, I'm going to show you closed. The brushing position with closed. Okay, so here's my rock. Again, so open. If I'm on the left side, my right hand is down, my chest is open, and I'm allowed to kind of lean over. So if you're like, I really love open, just do open. Okay, don't worry about this. Now, again, my feet are back, further back from the rock. I'm not beside it, and I'm not down like this. Okay, so it lets me use my body in more of a plank position. Closed would be my left arm leaning. And you're going to notice that this turns my hips and my feet to face towards the rock. Okay. Let me move this back so you can see. Okay. So open was here. Feet, hips, chest towards the target. Going closed. Feet and hips and chest aim towards the rock. Now, again, I'm not right beside the rock. I'm further back. It's going that way. Okay, so what I want you to think about, soft balls of the feet, bend the knees. Okay, you're going to lower that hand just a little bit. And again, you're going to use your feet to push your body over the brush and press into the hand. But you'll notice you're getting a little bit more side bend, in this case, to the left. And I'll show you from a different angle. Okay, so I'm kind of side bending towards the left, and I'm going in that direction. Okay, so let's hold that. If you're holding it already, keep going. Okay, feet, push your body over. Use your hands to lift your chest up. Okay. 10 seconds. You can challenge yourself. You can push your feet back, but make sure you're always trying to push over. Get over that brush. And good. Shake it out. I'm going to encourage you, if you like, to try the other direction. Okay, you're just going to feel weird. We're just getting in a plank. You can always move your feet. Okay, so getting in that other direction. Feet, hips, shoulders, aim at the rock. Okay, feet, push your body over the brush. Oops, I'm a little bit lower for this, sorry. Okay, and I'm going in that direction. So my chest is closed to the target, 20 seconds, here we go. Okay, if I was going this way, this is what it would look like. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good. Okay. So you can do the wall march again. You can even try moving your feet back even more so that you're really trying to push, like visualizing pushing the wall over for this. So I'm, again, using my feet to kind of push everything in that direction. Okay, and I want you to do 20 to 50 steps. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so getting a little bit lower on this one. Okay, trying to push the wall over, keeping your ears above your armpits. So what I mean by that is we're not looking down at our toes. Okay, ears above the armpits. Try not to go too much side to side. Push it, push it, push it, push it. Good. Even though it seems really simple, it's pretty difficult to hold yourself up on the wall like that. That's good. Good job, good job, good job. Okay, so last set, I'm gonna let you rest. Last set is your choice. And we're gonna do both sides. So I'm gonna encourage you to switch which arm is down because I want you to be versatile. We're off the ice. We're trying to even things out. Okay, you never know what's gonna happen out there. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a recap, okay, while you're resting. So I imagine that there's a lane for the rock and there's a lane for your feet. So with your typical brushing, you're never really going behind the rock. So there are techniques where you are going backwards. Not what we're talking about today. Your typical brushing, okay? Open, if I'm on my left. My right hand is down. My shoulders will be higher than my hips. My feet will be back behind the rock. And you notice that my feet and my hips and my shoulders are kind of aimed at the target. So I'm gonna use my feet to push my body over the brush. And I'm gonna use my hands to push my body away. Okay, so that's open. Closed. When I turn that left hand down, notice if my feet stay there, how twisted I'm gonna be. They have to face, feet, knees, hips, shoulders, face the rock. We're in kind of the same spot here. I'm gonna get a little lower on the brush. I'm gonna use my feet to push my body and get a little bit of a left side bend and press my body away. Okay, so I'm gonna encourage you to try to do a right hand down and a left hand down. I'm gonna again count 20 seconds. Ready?
Steph, I have a question. Do you actually brace? Do you brace the broom against your ribs, or are you just pressing down?
For this, while sweeping, yes, I end up getting a little indent there. For this, if you, not everybody needs to try this, but if you want, hold on, I'm trying to get in a position here that'll show this. Okay, I like to try to put the broom and the forearm in line. Okay, which keeps it out of your armpit because I find sweeping gets very trappy, trap muscles. It's very hard to move the brush like this. Okay, but is it wedged into your body in this activity? It can be. It gives you a little bit more stability, but it's also a bit more of a challenge to let it move away. Okay, so instead of it like this, you could move it away from your body. You can move it in and out. I call it chicken winging as an exercise. So if you want to try that while you're holding, you can. Does it help? Good. Okay, here we go. 20 seconds, whichever one you want. Ready, go. 20 seconds. Maybe you challenge getting a little bit lower. Use those feet. Push away the floor. Keep going. 5. Try to lift the chest. Keep your head up. You're always looking up. Always looking up. And good. Shake it out. We'll switch sides. I don't know how many of you are going to be like, I did the side I didn't like first. Most people do the one they like first. Ready? Side you don't like. Ready, set, go. Get yourself in that brushing position. Pushing away. If your hands slip, you need gloves next time. 3, 2, 1. Good job. And then it's going to be your choice of trying to push the wall over or getting into a mountain climber. So you can do this hands elevated. Okay, if you're doing this mountain climber, I want you to visualize, so not arching the tummy forward. Okay, imagine I put a tray on your back. So I want to pull the leg in, but I don't want to topple the tray side to side. So this is going to be nice and slow. It's called hips don't dance. Okay, so if you're trying to push the wall over up to 50, same thing with the hips don't dance, it's just a little bit tougher. Okay, so let's see what you got. Good, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, like each leg is 1. Okay, it could be a slow moving. Don't feel like you have to jam it into your chest. Okay. Good. Awesome. And then you're going to take a break when you're done that. I'm just letting those, I can see a couple on video, so I'm watching you. We've got one more superset. Yeah, we feeling good? Yeah. I'm only demoing them and I feel like I did a workout. All right. The last exercise, so the brushing plank, if your season doesn't start for a little bit, I know some of you it does. Your season doesn't start for a bit. Keep it by where you watch TV. Just get into the brushing position once in a while. Just see how it feels to use your feet, to push your body up, just to get into that position, finding a good position. Because part of brushing is just being comfortable in it. And we do all these exercises to get strong, but then we have to practice being in the position. Okay, we're gonna do one of my favorite pulling exercises. So we do need a dumbbell. Okay, so I'm gonna show you from this side first because I want you to pay attention to what we learned about pressing away here. So not shrugging up, but pressing away. So getting that space. So if my right hand is on, I want to push away. Okay, and again, I want to use my feet to push my body over and press away, just like we did in the brushing plank. This left hand is in line with the right wrist, and it's going to pull back. So it's going to reach forward and pull back. I'll show you from the front here, or from the side here. Okay, so a lot of people do, I'm going to do it this way. Okay, a lot of people do straight up, straight down. See how that shrugs my shoulder? Okay. We want feet to push the body forward, press away, reach forward, and pull back. Okay, and I'm driving that elbow back. Good. Okay, so here's the thing. If you've got 3 different levels of weights, I'm going to give you a challenge on the next one. But for this one, 8 to 12, get that movement. So holding the position alone allows us to get into that kind of curling position. Okay, and using my feet and pressing away, getting the arms to move. Okay, so 8 to 12 each side. Let me see some. Yeah. See if you can do this without locking the elbow up. So I call this my elbow pit. We kind of want it to be. So my elbow pit, I don't want it to aim forward. I kind of want it, if you've got hypermobile elbows, so soften a little bit so the elbow pit is pointing inwards, not locked out forward. Okay, it's gonna be tougher. It's gonna be a really good challenge. Yeah. Good. Think of getting a good reach. Good reach. Very good. Yep. And then keeping the head up. Keeping the head up. Yes, good. I know it's so tempting to look down at your toes. So good. Our superset exercise is going to be for the lower body, I promise. Good job. So our superset exercise is going to be another hamstring exercise. So we did one that just worried about kind of if your hips were dumped forward, it was kind of orienting the pelvis without clenching. You want to keep that, but that's more about hamstring up at the hip. All right, and so we did hamstring holding it against the wall as well. So what we're going to do is you're going to hold on to a wall for this one. So my hand needs to be straight beside or in front of me. We don't want it to be behind because it's going to jack up the shoulder. Okay, I'm going to get up on my toes. Let's say we lift the outside foot. So my right hand's on the wall, left foot is lifted, and I'm going to put my hands on my hip. Okay, this right hip is going to go back. Kind of let that right knee stay forward like we worked on last week. Okay, as far as you feel comfy, keep the right knee where it is and pull yourself forward. So 5 to 10. If you're like, I can't do this with my heel lifted, by all means, keep that foot on the ground. We want to keep the knee exactly where it is as you come through. So hip back, knee forward, come through, keep that knee bent. Okay, so whether your heel elevated or not, hinge back, hinge up, hinge back, hinge up. These little ties keep making pictures above there. Okay, I'll show you from the front. On the other side, hinge back. See how my hips kind of stay level? My knee pushes forward as my hip pushes back. And so 5 to 10 each side. Good. So you're working this hip. It's extending, it's lengthening, and then it's pushing you forward. So notice that this knee doesn't bend or straighten. It stays right where it is. Good job. 5 to 10 each. And then we're supersetting that single arm row. And I'm just going to talk about the single arm row for a second. Keep going while you're exercising. If you want a challenge, okay, and you've worked out before, okay, so like if 8 to 12 reps with the row, you're like, that's good, I'm good. Perfectly fine. If you want a challenge, and I can't demonstrate this because I don't have any weights, any more weights, but you're going to take a heavier weight for about 4 to 5 reps. Okay, and then take that medium rep weight and do 10 to 15 reps, all on the one arm. Okay, let me get a heavier weight. I'm gonna do it. Dog's gonna come running. All right, man, not for you, buddy. Sweet though. So this is part of a drop set. So up to 5 reps and then up to 15 reps. So go heavy if you don't mind, if you want to try. So I'm trying to get my body, feet pushing my body forward, press away the floor, reach towards the wrist, pull back. Okay, reach down. Okay, and then I'm gonna go right into the lighter weight for 10 to 15. There we go. Yeah, that looks really good. We got heads up. Okay, feet push the body over, press into the block, into the chair, wrists in line towards your back pocket. You'll notice you get more core this way. And you're working on the stabilizers in the down arm, not just the arm that is doing the rowing. Good work. Okay, and then you got the superset. Oh, I'm just watching the time. This is our last one. Superset with that heel elevated hinge. So imagine my knee has to stay forward. You want to give it a landmark, you can. So I want to keep the same distance here between my knee and the roller while my hip goes back. Just look out here. And then while my hip comes forward. So the space between the knee and the roller aren't changing. If you'd like to add in a march, still space between knee and roller is the same. Okay. using a support here. Go on an angle, hit the wall. Okay, using the support, 5 to 10 each side. Good job. Yep, adding in that march. This is awesome. We're going to stretch it out after this. Of course, if you're doing the recording, you want to do 3 sets of these things, go back, do some extras. Beautiful. So here's some upper body stretches that you might like. Okay. So visualize and if you're still going, keep going. Okay. Visualize your arm bone being connected across to your ribs, and it's actually pulling everything forward. So one of the things that I don't like about your traditional wall stretch here is that to get the stretch, we flare the ribs. So we could keep this distance here the same and just flare the ribs, okay, which is not accomplishing what we want, is that separation. So trying to keep your front ribs back, you put your hands there, okay? Put your hand into a doorway. So you want to be able to push, see I'm pushing my forearm into the doorway, okay? And I'm actually going to turn towards it a little bit as I apply a little bit of pressure. So I can lean, I can use my hand to push. And then I want to feel this space here opening up, okay, keeping those ribs back. And I want to breathe into this space. So I'm pressing into the wall actively. Feet could be like this. It could be staggered. Doesn't really matter. Okay. I want to be pressing into the wall actively and trying to almost push my body, push my body this way while also expanding ribs down. So this is very active. Okay, to get that chest muscle. So you're actually trying to not only get in a position, but breathe. You can put your hand up on the upper chest. Breathe into the hand. Okay, and then we can do the same thing on the other arm. How am I going to do that? You can kind of see. Let's see. Okay, so actively pushing into the wall. I'm not just falling forward. I'm almost trying to push my body back a bit to keep those ribs back. And I'm going to turn away, but I care most about breathing in, keeping those ribs back. So trying to breathe up into the chest without flaring the bottom ribs. Always pushing in with the hand. Okay, and then lastly, I call this the frisk knee. So same kind of start as that mountain climber. So stand shoulder distance away. And stand away from the wall and raise your arms straight out so that your ears are above your armpits. We need to keep ears above the armpits for this. So I'm going to walk my hips back as far as I can, again, keeping my ears above my armpits. You should still be able to see things over your arms. So I'm almost trying to lift my body up as I send my butt back. So there's this kind of similar activity happening at the lats that the hamstrings were doing in that first exercise. So I'm pulling to lift not my knees, but my head above the wall. From there, see if you can breathe back into your bra strap. So this isn't your typical like hang down here. I want to try to breathe into the back here. Okay, and if you're like, that's kind of hard, I want you to do this. Breathe in thirds. So breathe in a little bit, breathe in a little bit, breathe in a little bit, then breathe out. So one whole breath happens in thirds. So breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, and then all the way out. Okay, do that 2 more times. And then we're done. That's wonderful. Looks so good. And I'll see you all Wednesday for a good stretch. There'll be activity, of course.